Welcome to the Galactic Union Archive. Accessing Subsection 1, History and Civilizations, initiating Record 4, The Legend of Kazahk the Conqueror. This entry explores the life of Kazahk, the legendary warlord and dictator of Merkadah. His conquests rattled the core star sectors of Trescente, Harmonia, and Molitarian, and he is credited with establishing early communication networks between these systems in the aftermath of the Galactic Dark Ages.
Kazahk was born under a vibrant red moon on the 252nd day of the year 1424 GD, into a world engulfed in endless tribal warfare. The land of Merkadah was a battlefield where each tribe fought for dominance after the collapse of the ancient order during the Dark Ages. As a child, Kazahk's world was filled with the sounds of clashing blades and the smell of smoke rising from burning villages. Every sunrise marked another battle, another family torn apart, and another struggle for survival. Kazahk witnessed this constant conflict from a young age, yet instead of being consumed by fear, he was fueled by a burning desire for something greater. He watched warriors march to their deaths and leaders fall, but he also saw the glory that came with power, the fleeting respect earned through strength. Deep within, he knew he was destined for more than the brutal cycle of war that had gripped Merkadah for generations. He dreamed of his name being etched in the annals of history, not as a mere tribal leader, but as the one who would end the bloodshed by uniting all under a single banner. Kazahk grew up to be no ordinary leader. He was a force of nature, a warrior with a vision to forge peace through strength and to unite the fractured tribes as one unstoppable force. Kazahk's rise to power was swift and brutal. He raised an army that forged the Kazakh Empire, a coalition of the strongest tribes on Merkadah, bound by loyalty to him alone. His ambitions didn't stop at his home planet. Kazahk turned his gaze outward, leading his armies on a campaign of conquest of the Trescente system that would bring entire worlds to their knees. Kazahk's conquest extended beyond Merkadah, reaching the habitable and resource planets of the central core sectors, including the Molitarian and Harmonian systems. His dominance over these worlds was not just a display of military might, but a strategic move to control the vital trade routes that connected the noble planets. Under his rule, the Kazakh Empire became synonymous with fear and respect across the galaxy. Kazahk's rise to power was not only swift and brutal but also deeply strategic. His greatest success as a conqueror was rooted in the creation of the Tarmat, the swords of Turahmatk. This warrior cult, forged by Kazahk himself, was a brotherhood that believed in the teachings of the seer's sanctuary and worshipped Charon's disciple, the hunter Turan. The Tarmat was more than just an elite fighting force. It was a warrior religion that bred the greatest Merkadahan warriors. These men and women lived by the teachings of Turan the hunter, whose way of life and mastery in battle were seen as the hunter's blessing. The Tarmat warriors were forged through an intense, unforgiving training program that blended the many varying ancient traditions of warfare. Under the guidance of the Merkadahan Clavincian Sanctuary, a Merkadahan sect of the Alturan seers, the chiefs of Kazahk's army were entrusted with sacred knowledge and trained to master advanced and deadly combat techniques and strategy from across the stars. From a young age, recruits were subjected to brutal physical endurance tests, weapon mastery drills, and survival training across the hostile landscapes that spanned the Trescente to the Harmonian sectors. The program was as much about survival of the fittest as it was about honing skills. It systematically separated the genetically gifted warriors from the rest. Over time, only those with superior physical and mental resilience would endure, their natural abilities refined through relentless training and trials. This selective process ensured that the elite warriors of the Tarmat were not only highly skilled but also physically superior, making them a near unstoppable force on the battlefield. They learned to fight with precision and unity, honing their skills in both close combat and long-range tactics. Their training merged the fluid, high-speed Valesian Pankaitan martial arts with the relentless, aggressive fighting styles of the outlier and Merkadahan traditions. No move was wasted, and every action was merciless and swift, calculated to dominate the battlefield. The Tarmat developed a heightened awareness of every known fighting discipline, allowing them to adapt quickly and counter any opponent. Their bond as a warrior brotherhood was forged in blood and sweat, ensuring they moved as one unstoppable force on the battlefield, relentless, disciplined, and feared across the galaxy. Under Kazakh's rule and the Tarmat leading his forces, he became the unstoppable spearhead of his conquests, their unwavering faith and superior combat skills repeatedly turning the tide of battle in his favor. But Kazakh's reign as the conqueror came at a cost. His relentless pursuit of power and his warrior mentality began to stir unease among the nobility and politicians of Merkadah and other worlds under his control. His dictatorial taxing of planets under his rule caused factions to conspire against him. To them, Kazakh was not just a ruler but a threat, one who could never be controlled, one whose very existence endangered the delicate balance of power within the galaxy. It was within these shadows that a plot was hatched, a plan to end Kazakh's reign before his power could grow any further. The conspirators knew the only way to stop a force like Kazakh was from within. It was a Merkadah noble, once an ally of Kazakh, who delivered the fatal blow, ending the life of the greatest conqueror Merkadah had ever known. Kazakh's death marked the end of an era of war and conquest, but the beginning of one of lasting unity and strength. His fall paved the way for the first Great Pact in 1472 GD. A treaty that would usher in a new age of peace and cooperation among the noble civilizations of Merkadah, Veliz, Pelham, and Moravia. But the legend of Kazahk the Conqueror, the man who united the tribes of Merkadah, created the Turahmatk, and conquered the stars, would live on, a reminder of the power and the peril of unchecked ambition.
This concludes our entry on the legend of Kazahk the Conqueror. To explore more of Alturah's rich history, continue browsing the Galactic archive.